Thanks so much for being here again with your film. It was an awesome screening, I think. If anybody here hasn't done this before, you can just raise your hands if you have questions. You can shout them out, and then I'm going to repeat them into a microphone to make sure that everyone here has heard them. And I'm going to pass it off to you guys. The best way to start, oh my gosh, there's so many questions already. A good way to start is to actually talk about how you became involved with the project, like where it really started for you, and then I'm going to get to all of you guys right here.
So I think, the beginning of this project really started because in Australia we're having a big debate right now about same-sex marriage, which I think is happening in lots of countries really. But all the opponents of same-sex marriage kept repeating this argument that marriage is about kids and kids need a mum and a dad. And I suppose I just felt that there was a voice missing in the discussion. And, even though gays can't marry, they've been having kids for generations. And so I'm one of those kids, and I've got gay parents myself, and I was like, well, where's the voice of the kids? And so we really just wanted to make a film that spoke to that. And I think the other really big impetus for making the film was, I think, a couple of years ago when I watched this film called The Kids Are All Right, which I'm sure you've all seen, and it was the first fiction film to show a lesbian family. And I walked out of that cinema and realised that I'd never seen my kind of family on a big screen before. And I suppose just wanted to make the documentary, to match that and to reflect our narratives and our families in our media and in our world, because I think that's really important for everybody.
Right here with the glasses first.
Yeah, I was wondering, how did you explain the camera crew in Fiji if that family lived in the closet?
So the question is just, how did you explain the camera crew in Fiji if that family is in the closet?
Well, the camera crew consists of
Me.
Maya. So that made it easier.
This was a really tough, one of those decisions in filmmaking, which is really hard, because it's not up to me to out Graham in his new environment, and that's so not what we wanted to do. So what we decided to do was just to say that it was a film that we were making, which was about Graham learning to read, which it was. And in some ways, I think, there's a little complication around there, around consent and other parents, knowing what their children might be in. But I think at the same time, we made a decision to try and not linger on any other kids' faces, and a lot of it's shot from the back of the other kids in the class. But yeah, I didn't feel comfortable
at that time as well. The update on that is though that they've been there now for over a year, and they're gradually letting people in and letting people know. I don't think mountain people probably don't walk down the street holding hands, but people are aware now, especially at school, and that teacher is tutoring Graham twice a week, which is really cool, and he's doing really well. So yeah.
And coming into the family home and having dinner with them, and I think it's just sometimes there's this big pressure in Western culture to sort of come out and be proud and be lay yourself bare. But I think actually what they've discovered over there, and what lots of families do is just invite people into their family when they feel safe. That's what we all do. So that's how they're going.
Okay, we'll go right here.
I just want to know how Ebony's little brother's doing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you heard it too.
So the question is about how Ebony's little brother is going. So he just started kindergarten, and he is still having seizures. I think they've diagnosed it as nocturnal epilepsy, and they're kind of just trying to manage it, but it has got less. But yeah, it's hard.
And the update on that family, just because while we're talking about it, is that Jade and are actually having another kid, which is really exciting. They're pregnant right now. So Ebony's really excited about that, and she's doing really well at Northmead. It actually became a performing arts high school after she had been there for a few months, so everything's like kind of meant to be. And she's in the gifted stream as well there. She's doing really well.
We should maybe, just because now we've done 2 of the families, let's just do updates on all of them if you have any.
So yeah, Matt's still going to his, I don't know if it's in the film actually, he's going to a Catholic school, high school, and he's kind of like little Mr. Popular. He is great, and he his mums have decided to not wait around for Australian politics to change, so they're going over to New Zealand next week to get married, and then they're having a ceremony in Australia, of which I'm the bridesmaid. Gus is Gus. Gus has actually recently put down his wrestling toys, of which I was really upset about. But he has taken up Aikido, so he's kind of become the doing it himself, and he's in a sort of slightly awkward teenage stage. But yeah, he's good.
There's a question right there.
I guess I'll ask two questions. How did you know these families? How did you find them and get them to participate? And second is, because I'm also a filmmaker, were you staying the night at their houses? Like, how much time did you spend with these?
Well, the first part I'll answer, which is how did we find the kids. We kind of started out in our immediate network. So, you know, obviously Maya, through her mums, knew a large number of the Sydney community, and we sort of let them know what we were trying to do, and people started to get in touch with us slowly. Gus's mums are family friends of theirs, so
My mum was at Gus's birth.
Yeah. So that was the first, you know, he was the first one we met, and then we literally did the whole old-fashioned thing of calling every LGBTI organisation in Australia and speaking to them about what we were trying to do, to see if they could suggest anyone that we might talk to, or help promote the fact that we were looking for these families. And we were quite overwhelmed. The response was really strong, and people were so interested in the project and what we were trying to do. I think that continued on, and it just is so reflective of this community that when there's something they want to get behind, they really, really do. And we've just been so overwhelmed throughout the whole process of how great that has been. So once we had all these people who were interested, we travelled around Australia, interviewing kids and families and getting to know a whole lot of kids, and then we slowly were able to kind of work out who was going to be right for the film.
And I think that process also is not just finding the right kids, but, you know, for me growing up, I'm a bit older than the kids, obviously, and I wanted to see whether what I experienced was similar to them, and just find out what were the stories that should be in the film. Like, what should we be talking about? What are the kids wanting to say? And so it was kind of, you know, it was casting, but it was also research, and that was really nice. And yeah, like, I did sleep at a lot of their houses a lot. Where I literally moved to Fiji with the boys, for the first month when they arrived, and took over their they had a gaming room, and I was like, you don't need that. You just need a filmmaker in your house. But yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time with them, which was fine because they really love all the families. I wouldn't be making a film about them if I didn't. Yeah, they probably found me annoying sometimes, but apart from that, it's okay.
Is there a question in the back I just can't see right now? Oh, right here.
You mentioned that the idea of the documentary was prompted by the legislation in Australia and the debate about gay marriages and adoption. So when you were coming up with a story, were you doing it strategically? So I understand you wanted to add the kids' voice to the debate, but did you have in mind how your story, how your movie will influence the situation in Australia? Did you have a strategy? How did you decide to structure your movie, and how do you think it will play out in the future for the situation?
So the jumping off point for you was about, it was political. It was like politics in Australia, legislation. When you're putting together your film, even though it's about kids' voices, is this the sort of thing that you had a strategy for? How do you think it's going to affect policy moving forward? Yeah? Is that good?
Well, yeah, so did you have an idea? So I'm going to do it this way so that I have a better argument.
Right.
Sure.
Is it about influencing policy?
I think, from the beginning, Charlotte and I both, we didn't want to make a political film necessarily. We didn't want to make something which was just people's sort of ideas. We wanted to make something where you could really connect with the kids and immerse yourselves in their lives, and in the way, I suppose, that's making its own political statement. I think the very idea of wanting to make a film from the perspective of the kids
was part of our strategy for how to open up that dialogue and therefore influence people. I think, we wanted to demystify the gay family unit. We wanted to, for people who maybe hadn't met families like this or had concerns that the kids were like damaged or something, we wanted them to have some time, to really spend some time and get to know them. And I would say that was definitely a strategy, but it wasn't as Maya said, we didn't want it to be like an overt political film. We both really love character-driven documentaries and narrative-driven documentaries, so.
At the same time, we're hoping to screen the film to Australian Parliament about halfway through the year when they'll be discussing that. And it's really interesting because some gay activists have been like, well, I don't know if it's the best tool because the parents like yelling at the kids, and maybe, I don't know, like maybe we could, I don't know, make something, like change it a bit. And we were like, well, I think for me the most powerful thing is not to say, hey, like we're perfect, we're great. It's much more powerful to say, hey, we're imperfect, we're like you. And that's what we wanted to do with the film, even though that's maybe doesn't fit into other people's strategy.
And it can be confronting that too, as well, showing those imperfections, but I think it was definitely intentional.
I grew up having to be a poster child for gay families, and I'm really excited to be able to talk about our dysfunction. It's really exciting.
What was it like to work together?
What's it like for the two of you to work together?
We love each other. No, it's been interesting. We're expecting. No, I think, it's really lovely. The nice thing about Charlotte and I is that we're the same age. We went to uni together, and I'm beginning to realise that there's no one else sort of around. We had an exec producer who helped out, but really we're kind of like the girl team, and I'm beginning to realise that that's quite unusual. Like it's often maybe different ages within a film team that get something made, but I think also we just had the energy to go out and make this film, and I think crowdfunding probably we needed each other to do it because that was a lot of energy.
Yeah. It was great. Hopefully we'll make more films together.
Okay, we got time for like one more. I feel like I haven't heard from anybody in the back, so person there waving your hand.
Hi. I'm curious as to whether you are going to screen this film anywhere on other continents like Africa and other places where it's not necessarily going to be welcome arms, and if so, when?
So you screen the film, in other continents, other countries, places like Africa, for example, where it's really not openly acceptable to be gay couple.
I think we would love to, actually. I think that the kids offer because it's about family and kids, I think there's sort of it's a safer space, maybe. If anyone here is from somewhere who would like to screen the film in another continent or country, we would love to hear from you. And yeah, we really hope that it can go really far and wide. And I mean, we tried really hard to make sure that the story had a lot of universal qualities that people could connect with no matter where they're from or what language they spoke. I mean, obviously,
yeah, I think
subtitles if you don't speak English, but yeah.
I think there is a lot of power though in telling this from the kids, and I've been into a number of kind of conservative churches when I was living in London who were like, well, we can't save your parents, but you've still got a chance, and I was, I feel like, if you tell it from the kids, and obviously you can see how much we love our families, yeah, it can be powerful.
Outspoken, outstanding.
Yeah. Okay, I think, will you guys be in the lobby if people have any questions? I didn't put you on the spot, so you have to be now. But thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget to vote. Did you want to talk anything about the campaign or anything you're doing? Go to your website. You guys are good.
Pretty much. We'd love everyone if you want to keep in touch with the film and also the impact and outreach that we will be doing over the next year or so to promote diverse families. It's thegaybyproject.com.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here.